GREAT17.com. Go to the sessions page and find our Exploring Project-Based Learning. From there, you will be able to click the link to access our presentation, which is going to have other links for you later on. Okay? Any questions? Anyone need some assistance? Okay, to get us started, what we would like for you to do is to go onto our brainstorming Padlet after Kyle talks about the goals.
Our goal is.
Okay, and now it really is time to move on to the Padlet. I was just so excited that I got ahead of myself. If you would click on this link, the idea here is to just kind of get a feel for what you guys already know about project-based learning. You can write a definition, you can give an example. If you're not quite sure what it is, that's okay. Feel free to just put your best guess, okay? If you haven't used Padlet before, you can press the plus sign down in the bottom right corner or double click anywhere. Okay. Are there any common themes that you notice looking at the different? Okay, so just going to talk real briefly about all of the different themes that we have in the Padlet. There's only one area that we're really going to look at right now, but just so you kind of know what's there so that you can go back to it later if you would like. The first theme, the first column is the links to anything that we use during our presentation. So we have the actual presentation slides, the brainstorming page that you guys just did, a project design rubric, we'll talk more about that in a few minutes, as well as a couple of things that we're going to be doing at the end of the lesson. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look at the teacher overview of the schoolyard habitat project. Okay. What I did is I took the full version of the project and I broke it down into different sections that I found went really well together. So for right now, just take a look at the teacher overview and kind of read through it, think about it, talk amongst yourselves about what you think of the project, if you think it's a good project, if you think there's some things that could be improved, and why. Okay?
Guiding question for the entire.
And that's kind of one of the key things about project-based learning. Yeah, the teacher is the guide, but you kind of have to think through all of the different possibilities.
It seems like there's a lot of
One of the most important things is that
prep work in advance, and then it comes to electrical stuff.
That's a really good way to put it. A lot of prep work, planning, thinking.
Family members with the community, school board.
I have done, there's one project I did which is project-based learning. I didn't think of it that way as I was doing it, but at the end of this past school year, I had my students design math board games to review for their state tests because the EOGs, they're called in North Carolina, are a super huge deal at our school. And I didn't want the kids stressing as they're reviewing, so they had to create answer keys, they had to come up with fourth grade math questions, they had to design some sort of board game. Very odd board game, but you know, still,
That's impressive that they did it.
yeah. But, so that's probably like my best experience with using project-based learning.
So here,
Anyone have any questions about this project that's
step by step, just follow these instructions, worksheets like this, that guide.
Does every project-based learning have like a community tie?
And so here,
a lot of them do, and that is one of the things we'll talk about as we go through kind of organizing your own projects. Most of them have some sort of tie to something outside of their class. Yeah, you can either, like the one I did was more for like the fourth graders at my school, so the other fourth graders that I did too. Live that has more ideas of what you would want to use project-based learning for. Okay, so pick any of my slides that don't have anyone else on them. Okay.
What do you want? So you could pick the revolutionary.
And the idea behind doing it that way is so that you can kind of learn from each other and learn from other people's ideas. Although Peter, Kyle, and I are all talking about the same things, we're talking about it at different levels and different
choose something that
Alright, so
already
the first thing you need to think of is
in your
some sort of
curriculum.
learning goal, something that you have to teach your students. Okay, so now that you've had some time to come up with some ideas of things you might possibly do in your own class, what we would like you to do now is email yourself using emailfuture.com. You can click that link, and email yourself the link to our Padlet and the link to the idea slides. That way you can come back to it later. Okay? As you're creating that email, think about when is a good time to get that email from yourself. So is it a good idea to get it right before school starts? Or maybe what you're thinking of is something that you plan to do in January after break, and so maybe sending it to yourself in December is a better choice. So think about that. Take a couple of minutes to do that. And if you need any assistance, please let us know.